Look at picture frames and behind them, cameras. Try to determine what's taking place. Behind a picture frame, you can find bullets. What does that mean to find bullets?
I did not expect those to be
You think there's like more, I don't know, grounded items that you could put in this, like, you know, what I'm assuming supposed to be like a school kid's room that like parents would most likely, because I'm like, okay, yeah, you might have your kid out there that's gang banging and doing crack. But like, you know, what about like
start a conversation with him?
Yeah, like I mean, if he's that deep in, I don't think you can talk to him anymore.
Yeah,
but like,
talking about that one.
I wish they would have like brought the child actor in.
What's poppin', everybody?
Welcome back to the Cold Podcast.
I'm Zoe.
And I'm Steve.
And today we're going to be looking at an old video of current mayor of New York, Eric Adams. This is back when he was a senator. He did a sort of a PSA video that talked about combating gun violence and making sure that as a parent you have an eye on your kids and what kind of activities they may be up to. And it's a bit more amusing than I think was intended.
Yeah, so Eric Adams, I mean, he's basically trying to get across the message that your kids are up to no good and you got to keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
So we're going to watch this video and see how we can keep our kids from doing drugs and shooting guns.
Yeah, man, let's save the world.
Yeah.
One kid at a time.
Jury box. A jury box of this nature, maybe a simple jury box, but if you look through it closely, you don't know what your child may be hiding. For instance, a gun could be hidden. A small caliber weapon could be hidden inside the jury box.
He got a toy
Look at the
gun.
various colognes and perfumes and photos and pictures. You should always, when your child brings in his popular knapsack with many different locations, look through it to see what exactly is your child carrying in addition to a book. Something simple as a crack pipe, a used crack pipe. Could he have found it on the street? That's quite possible. But this is a discussion piece where you should start speaking with him to find out what is he doing with it.
Wait, pause real quick.
This invokes
Imagine being a kid and just hiding your fucking crack pipe like right at the front of your backpack.
You know what I'm tell you right now, I used to hide all my drugs in that pocket. So I was like when I saw this like right now, I was like, oh my fucking God.
That's where you
this
used to
guy's about to bust everybody.
The most obvious pocket? No way.
You don't trust me. No one thinks. No one
You wouldn't at least
thinks
like put it under the books at the bottom of the bag?
Smash my weed and you guys crazy? This guy's on to something, man.
I guess that makes sense, yeah.
That also when you put your crack pipe in 5th grade?
That is where I put my crack pipe in 5th grade. And I'm also scared for the other 5th graders that don't know what to do with their crack pipes.
Yeah, now those kids, 12 years ago, those kids all got their asses whooped.
Well, guys, just kids know that you got to move it to a different pocket now because they're privy.
I like how old school he is, calling it a knapsack.
Yeah. Like he said supper.
Yeah, when you check your child's book satchel, you know.
Before supper, you're going to want
to. I actually have a funny, relevant story because in freshman year of high school, me and the Chinese class, at least you were there, Chinese class, we all went to Chinatown. And I remember in Chinatown, we had went to a gift shop, and I bought this little thing. It was like a little bulb with like a pipe connected to it. And apparently it was like a cigarette holder. So you put your cigarette in it and then you hit your cigarette using it. Cool. But I had put it in one of my drawers. And then I remember like a week later, I come home from school, walk in my room. Well, I walked in the front door. I walked into the door of the fucking house. And the first thing my mom does, I'm probably 13 years old. She literally I open the door and she's standing there waiting. Whoa. And then she grabs me by the neck and she like chokes me up against the wall. And she's like, "What is this?" She's like,
I looked in your knapsack.
She's like, "You're doing crack." She's like, "This is a crack pipe." And she's just yelling at me. So you're smoking crack.
That's literally insane.
You just got hemmed up.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't even know. Like, I literally purchased it not even knowing what it was. I just thought it looked cool.
What if it was a crack pipe, though? Like,
yeah, it could have been a crack pipe. I mean, whatever it was. And then I ended up going to my room because, like, basically, I think I like explained my way out of it, or maybe she just like threatened to like take my Xbox or something. But I remember I went to my room and literally everything in my room is on the floor. Like all my clothes have been taken out the drawers. The bed is flipped upside down.
Oh my
it's
God.
like she scoured my room looking for any evidence of paraphernalia.
Crack. That's crazy.
Yeah, she thought I was addicted to crack, and I was like not even close to being a crackhead.
She's like, "Where's that crack at? I know some crack in here."
I smell some rock, young man.
What a crackhead.
That's a hilarious misunderstanding. It's like I just came back from a fun time in Chinatown, and now my mom's thinking I'm on drugs.
Yeah, I was with a bunch of Chinese guys snorting cocaine and doing crack.
Doing opioid.
And the crazy thing is, it was clean. I'm sure
It was
wasn't
completely
like
clean. It was unused.
Why
I didn't
would
even know what
she-
it was for.
Right? Why would she even think that? It was crazy.
My mom was something else, man. She was just worried about her kid, though. I understand it, but you know. All right, let's see a little bit more of this. He reveals a couple more items.
All right.
Yeah, valuable items.
Conversations. Look at picture frames and behind them, cameras. Try to determine what's taking place. Behind a picture frame, you can find bullets. What does that mean to find bullets?
No, I did not expect those to be there.
There's smoke, there's possibly
That's what the
violence,
parents
there's
think
a
too,
bullet,
Hiram.
There's possibly a gun. You should engage in the conversation and find out what are they doing with the item, and this empowers the parents. Look at all the items inside the room and feel around and see what's the possibility. Something simple as a baby doll. Could be just a baby doll, but also it could be a place where you can secrete or hide drugs. Run your hands
take that
over
gun out of the doll.
and see if you feel anything that's unusual. Like a pillow like this with a button is a perfect invitation to hide something. I felt something bumpy. I would reach in, see what it is. This one could be.
I knew it.
Maybe something that you think.
I sleep with my Blake.
And what happens not only makes
You check under the bed, there might be a ninja star.
Man, this kid's got a lot going on.
Of it, but also a child.
Some
that comes
busy
into the
little
room
rascal.
and plays on the bed. They find
kid's
this
active.
gun.
Yeah.
Let me
This
tell
kid's
you
really
what
in the
a child,
fields.
Would do. A child
Bro,
would take
the
this
music in
gun,
the background.
and because it's a
It sounds like Zelda.
You can hear it stop and play back again.
So many
It
gun
ain't even
accidents
smooth.
take
They didn't
place
edit it
merely
at all.
because a child discovers a gun in the room and believes it's a toy and they play with the gun. Just look and see what's inside your bookcases. It could be more than just books. Perfect place to hide cocaine or other illegal substance inside the room. My message to you.
He seems.
You have
awesome.
I'll say this: that
obligation
kid sure
to
reads a lot of
protect your
books
home.
for being a gun-wielding
First,
crack
you
addict.
have the right of parents to
Well-learned
go through
child,
their
and he's got
homes.
so much.
All right, you
crack
can,
and
you,
cocaine.
you can turn the video
So book
off.
on how to get
Any
crack.
other-
This
I think it's
Probably,
the-
probably
He's
where you
got
learn how
two
to.
guns,
how to get
like,
more crack.
drugs,
You got 2 guns, a bunch of weed, a
That's probably-
crack pipe, and some cocaine.
That's
really
prob-
good books, and like he's got a box of Uno. So like,
Yeah.
I want to, I hang out.
I would say
like
that's
shuriken in
probably
there.
how I learned how to secure 2 guns and a crack pipe at 12.
Yeah.
I want to say that
Teach me.
the Eric Adams, it seemed like I don't know, like he seemed surprised himself when they set this up. Like he was like, "There's gonna be a crack pipe here, I guess." He's like, and then in the bookshelf there's cocaine. It's like somebody. He's like, "Who the fuck wrote this?"
And another thing, I
like-
noticed underneath this button is, yep, it's a gun.
Yeah, it's like on this fucking pillowcase with a gigantic button on it because people have those. I guess they had them 12 years ago. I don't know.
Bro, I could completely imagine it's like they had him like, sir, your PSA is at 12. Are you ready? Do you need to go over your script? It's like, yeah, let me just read it real quick. It's like, then someone's like directing, you're just going to look in here and here and then, talk about what you find. Okay, that's all we need you to do. He's like, okay, I got a conference like 5 minutes. It's going to take long. No, we're about to film now. It's like he just goes in there ad-libbing and it's just like, and this is a gun. Like he's like thinking like, what this supposed to be for like kids? Like what the fuck am I finding? And over here you'll find a crack pipe.
Like,
I
check
mean,
under
for
the
New
sheets.
York
You might,
City, though, it's like, I guess it kind of makes sense.
yeah, like check under the sheet. You might find a fucking hyena. There's like a whole hyena living under the sheets.
I'd have like a Naruto shuriken under there or something.
Be sure to open a discussion about hyenas with your kids. This is a perfect opportunity. And what's this underneath the bed? It's a body.
It's hilarious.
It's a
Can't
dead
even.
body.
This kid has got a case. You want to talk to him about this?
This kid's actually
You're
hiding.
fine.
He's hiding the next 30 chapters of Hunter x Hunter under his bed.
Who knows? You might find a body bag.
Yeah, you might find a mob
shame.
boss's daughter
Yeah.
behind the
You
bookshelf.
don't,
If you
want,
pull
you don't
the
want beef with that mob boss.
Yeah, if you find the mob boss's daughter,
Make
put
sure
her
she's
right
okay.
back.
Yeah. Make sure your son doesn't have any beef with the mafia.
Talk
You
to
pull
him
back the
about this.
covers. What do you see? A horse's head. It is.
There's no horses for miles. Where'd he find this?
Where do you find this? Who
Open
knows?
the curtain, spaghetti. A big plate of mama's spaghetti. That's ridiculous.
Oh god. Actually, it's funny because I'm like, even like going through it, I'm like, it's so funny. I guess this is supposed to be like a general overview, but if you're looking at this like this is the ideal, like, I don't know, 13-year-old boy's room, the way you can realistically find, it's like you can't tell what it is. There's like a bookshelf, but crack pipes. There's a baby doll. You know, it's like, who's room is this?
imagine if they did something more realistic, like next to the bed, there's jizz rags.
This kid's he really is a kid.
Porno magazine.
Unfinished homework everywhere.
You'll find unmarked money in like his jizz-soaked socks. It is.
Oh, lost
Check all the
wallet.
books. You never know which one leads to the secret laboratory. Like it's a Dexter's laboratory.
Yeah, there's like Dexter's
Turns out
room.
it's the Uno. It's the Uno the whole time.
The
What's
Uno
behind here? You built everything in here. Why is there a room?
Imagine being a kid that has a gun and also plays Uno at the same time.
Dude, that's this kid. This kid is like
plays high stakes Uno.
Russian Uno.
spins it around.
Yeah. Like draw
Reverse.
4, you gotta fucking fire 4 times.
You gotta load like 4 of them.
Oh, you're lucky. That'd be fucked up. It's like you do draw 4, you make it, and then they put another draw 4 down.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, game over.
Game over.
And then you have to yell Uno before you blow your brains out.
Oh, no.
Okay, I quit. You guys, I lose.
They were playing no forfeit rounds.
Talk to your kids about their knapsacks.
Oh man, yeah, this is a pretty ridiculous video overall.
Hilarious.
But this guy did make it up the
Telling you,
ranks.
that's
I mean,
where
and
you
I guess
put the
that's why
drugs.
this video has been sort of resurfaced because he's
spitting
like now
fire.
the mayor.
Yeah,
He is
like-
spitting fire. Like if I had to put my things, like if I had to put my gun anywhere,
Yeah,
like I'm
right in the
thinking-
pillowcase.
right in
Yeah.
the pillowcase.
Yeah, no one's
You
gonna
never
check
know when
there.
you're
It's a 38.
I just think
Unlatch
if
that button.
I
Or
just
the
think if
music
we-
box, right?
The music
Yeah.
box is
Yeah.
really good. Honestly, I like the music box.
Yeah.
The music box is a great
Do
place.
those
for-
still
for a
exist?
gun.
You think there's like more, I don't know, grounded items that you could put in this, like, you know, what I'm assuming supposed to be like a school kid's room that like parents would most likely, because I'm like, okay, yeah, you might have your kid out there that's gangbanging and doing crack, but like, you know, what
And
about
then
like,
start a conversation with him.
yeah, like, I mean, if he's that deep in, I don't think you can talk to him
Yeah,
anymore.
but
But
no
like,
talking about that one.
I wish they would have like brought the child actor in.
yeah, that would have been
So
awesome.
just
He's like
looks
foaming at the mouth.
I was imagining like a little valedictorian. He's just like, "What's going on, father?
Father, have you
Son.
found my cracky?
Yeah.
You
Maybe like
you
a-
must have found everything: the guns, the bodies,
Oh,
the
so
crack."
he's like, oh, so you know.
Locks the door.
His voice changes.
What do you think would be like a modern day version of this? Like, what would they be finding in the kids' room?
Carts, like cartridges, like weed carts.
Okay.
Oh.
Vapes.
Like,
Probably
yeah,
a bunch of vapes.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's like
Vapes
3 vapes in
everywhere.
one pillowcase.
Like,
Vapes and like
Some blunt wraps.
V-Buck gift
I
cards
mean,
from
guns do.
Walmart.
I'm not gonna sit here and unvalidate households that have gun problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The guns do exist.
That's true.
And it's
that
New
would-
York. I mean, you know.
Yeah, it's New York. You know, like
And guns, and I guess kids, or especially nowadays,
Spider-Man
would
is
probably
needed.
see guns as like cool. Like you show your gun to your friends, and you're like, "Oh, I got a gun. This is pretty
fashionable
cool."
and
And they're
shit.
like, "Hey, look at this guy.
if
He's
John
got a
Moran
gun."
can have a gun, any kid can.
Yeah.
I guess New York's probably like the crack capital of the USA. What do you think?
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
Especially
that
like if
sounds
you
very accurate.
Make sure you check for crack.
if you consider like the trains, especially like if you're just like on a train, there's at least gonna be 2 crackheads on that train with you at all
Yeah, no,
times.
I mean trains are just
Yeah.
a world of their own.
Yeah.
I remember I was on a
Crackheads love
train to
trains.
work, and what I can only assume were 2 crackheads kept trying to start a conversation with me. I hated it. It was like it was like a man
Hated
and a
the
woman in
experience.
like trench coats, and they were like on the bus, and the man was like out of it, and the woman was just talking the whole time. She kept trying to ask people for what time it was, and you know I didn't realize that was just an invitation for her to like not stop talking to me. Cause she was like, "Yeah, do you know what time it is?" And I was like, "It's like 7 a.m." And she's like, "Thank you. By the way, my name's Christina. This is my husband." You know, she points to the guy. The guy's like knocked out on the other side of the bus, and she's like, "He can sing any song. If you tell him a song, he'll sing it. Like, just give us name anything." And I'm like,
wake up,
I'm
get
like
some crack.
looking the other way, putting an earbud in, like, "Leave me alone, please." And then she just starts talking to herself like for like the
You look too
entire
nice.
ride.
You should have put a couple quarters in that guy and made him do a made him do a Michael
Just
Jackson
like in
song or
his
something.
mouth. Like,
And then he like his eyes pop open and he
Yeah, I
just
should
starts
have like
singing and
snapped some
dancing.
smelling salts and tried to get him up. Like, "Can you please shut her up? I don't know how to do it."
just need some.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that was like my first encounter with like the train homeless, and yeah, it was it was not a good one.
Just think about it. Those kids They were once kids with rooms like these.
They were. They had
Yeah.
dreams. They had rooms like
They
this.
had
where it starts.
knapsacks.
You know.
They had naps.
What did
She, I remember she told me they had like I was like, because it took me a second to realize I was talking to like I guess like kind of like the people on the subway that just like sleep there during the day.
Yeah.
Because she was like saying we just came back from Wrigley Stadium, and I was like, oh okay, they came back from sleeping in Wrigley Stadium, and then they were gonna sleep on the train now.
Oh boy,
I was like, Jesus,
that sounds like a good life.
yeah, things are getting hard out here, huh?
Yeah, that's definitely a Chicagoan story.
Headed home from Wrigley Field. Oh wait, I'm already home.
Yeah, and then they got on
The
drugs
world's
and
my
were talking.
oyster.
What happens if you guys find your well, let me ask you this:
I find a
what would be
22.
more
A 38
concerning,
in my
right?
kid's bag.
What?
The fact that your son, 16 years old, has a baby doll,
Uh-huh.
or the fact that there's crack in the baby doll.
Oh yeah. I
know
didn't
what?
think about that.
Yeah, which one is
Yeah.
more concerning? Like, obviously,
no.
you're gonna be like, "Why is
The
this baby
crack.
doll here?"
Yeah.
for
The
sure.
crack.
The
What if it's
I
what
would
if it's a
assume-
gun? What if there's a gun
I'm
hidden in the
also
baby doll?
concerned about that.
Yeah.
Are you more concerned about the baby doll?
No.
No, I wouldn't. Because here's the thing. I would have assumed
weird
he was
already.
holding the baby doll for someone. That would be my assumption. Because I'm like, I never bought that for you. Where'd you get that? But
I
then,
got my own money.
yeah. But then when I found out that there's drugs or a gun in there, then that would be like even more concerning. 'Cause I'm just like, oh, he's holding drugs for someone. Or, like that was my first thought.
Well, what if you see him actively playing with the baby doll though, and then
Oh.
it just so happens that
Probably
he
on
puts his
crack.
gun in there too?
Okay.
He's probably on crack.
I guess I'd have a lot of questions.
Yeah,
like
that
you know,
makes sense.
how's
Yeah,
school
I'm
going?
like he's smoking crack and playing with a doll. I'm very concerned.
Yeah.
That's like, ooh, man, that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. I'd be like, damn.
Smoking crack and
This is
playing with
like-
baby dolls. It's like he smoked so much crack now he's like developmentally disabled.
I mean,
I gotta talk
crack.
to my son.
Crack is one hell of a drug, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd just be like, dude, that's it.
Yeah.
I buy him an Xbox just to I don't know.
Put him down.
I don't have no other answers. I'm like, maybe this will help.
Yeah.
Give him
games
something else to
sells-
do
He
instead of
sells
smoke
that for
crack
crack.
and play with
He
dolls.
sells that Xbox for crack within an
Yeah,
hour.
exactly. Crack it. What if he sells it for more baby dolls and no crack? It's like got
At
a.
that
He's got
point,
a.
I'll give him more crack.
Like okay, wait, hold on a
Oh,
second.
wait.
Go back to doing crack, please.
I
is
write a
more
letter
focused.
to Eric Adams and ask him like, what did you do when this happened to you?
What'd you do when you found your kids' dolls in his knapsacks?
Yeah, he's like, check under the toilet.
Did you
Pizza,
check under the toilet?
pizza, cornbread, fried chicken.
Yeah.
All right, I just like doing that voice. I'm sorry.
It's good.
Cornbread.
Spaghetti. All right,
I
let's.
really wanted to see more of this kid's room, though. I wish there was way more because there's so much stuff.
So
in
much
Yeah, there's so many
history.
items that could have contained something,
So
but
much-
they didn't stretch this
I
enough.
think,
Yeah.
Like you see those two jars, there's like two jars behind him or something. I was thinking he was gonna open those up and like a
Like-
snake. There's a snake in here.
He didn't want a
That's
strict.
my
He didn't
book.
want a strict script, so he was like, just have a set design, put a gun or crack in everything.
Yeah, just put something in everything. I'm just gonna pick stuff up at random,
It
and
better
there
have
better
something
either be
in
a
it.
boa constrictor
I
or
never
some
wanna
crack
be
in it.
wrong.
Yeah.
I never want to be wrong. Just tell me, let it be a crack pipe or a gun in there, and I'm.
Open the cabinets. What do you find?
We
A
don't
dead
get an
hooker.
Or if he was like right here in my pocket, some crack.
Just like I expect, ask him why he's good at pickpocketing. Tell him where he gained these skills.
Oh man.
All right, let's close this episode out, man. This has been really funny, very fun time. Make sure you guys follow the Cold Podcast on all social media platforms. That's TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. The Cold Podcast at The Cold Podcast. Also check us out on all audio and video platforms, including Rumble, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you can find audio or video podcasts. Follow us on Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to any exclusive content we create, including My Black Friends podcast, more than 80 episodes of hilarity. Thanks for popping in. We gotta pop out of here.
All right. Peace.